After finishing all the household chores, my mother and uncle would sit on the railway tracks for a while, talking about everything that had happened during the day. By the time they finished, it would usually be quite late before they went to bed. It had become a routine part of their lives. The railway track ran right in front of our home. At that time, I wasn't old enough to go to school yet. I was always attached to my mother's side. That night was just another ordinary night. After dinner and finishing all the work around the house, my mother and uncle went and sat on the railway tracks as usual. My mother carried me with her, resting me on her lap. The sandy earth, the gentle breeze, and the dim glow of the street light blended perfectly with the silence of the night. Normally, no one would come outside at that hour. But for the two of them, there was something special about talking quietly in the middle of the night. As they sat talking on the tracks, I stared at the stars in the sky, tracing imaginary shapes among them with my hands. It must have been around 11 at night. Their soft voices were the only sound in the darkness. About 15 or 20 minutes had passed when we heard a noise from somewhere nearby. It wasn't terrifying, but it certainly didn't belong in that quiet hour of the night. At first, it seemed neither my mother nor my uncle had noticed it. I sat up from my mother's lap, rested my face against her shoulder, and turned my head from side to side, searching. Then I heard it again. I looked around once more. This time my eyes drifted towards the house directly opposite the railway tracks. I stared harder. There was no doubt. The sound was coming from inside that house. It sounded as though someone was walking around or chopping wood with a heavy blade, but that was impossible. No one lived there. The house was still under construction. The place was dark, except for a small, weak bulb inside the compound, flickering on and off as it swayed slightly in the wind. By now, my mother and uncle had paused their conversation and, just like me, were turning their heads around, trying to locate the sound. I knew they had heard it too. I clung tightly to my mother's shoulder and stayed silent. There was tension on my uncle's face. He frowned and stared intently toward the house. Then suddenly, "Alice, look over there." He pointed toward the house. "What is it, Thomas?" my mother asked, turning to look. The moment she did, her eyes widened. The two of them froze. I turned back to look too. In the darkness, under the faint flickering light, it looked as though wood dust was floating through the air. The kind you would see when someone chops timber and fine particles scatter into the light. We all stared. After a few seconds, the sound abruptly stopped. Fear tightened around my mother and uncle. Pulling themselves together, my mother said quickly, "Come on, let's go inside." "Yes, let's go," my uncle replied, and they hurried away. As my mother carried me back, she whispered, "Close your eyes and sleep, little one." I buried my face into her neck, but slowly, quietly, I opened my eyes again and looked back toward the same dark house. There, a shadow appeared briefly in front of the flickering light and vanished. Thank you.